So we just got this box in the mail and got a few parts for a few miscellaneous small projects. Follow along as we get all these parts installed. So the first thing is these little gaskets for in the oil cap and dipsticks. And we're gonna see, will an Oliver part fit on an Alice Chalmers? Let's find out. So I got the old one out and there's the pieces from it. I'm gonna have to try to get this in here. I'm not exactly sure how the best way is to do this. Anyway, that was impossible to do one-handed, but if you curl the inside edge down around, you can get it around the one tab and then flip it or go to the other side and start with the inside edge, kind of stretch it out. Went pretty good. And that fits much better. Before it was pretty loose, and now we should have a nice snug oil cap. Second thing we're going to work on is trying to replace the steering wheel on the 60. The steering wheel looks fine, but it's actually bent and it's annoying me, so I'm going to try using this split bearing puller that I got from Harbor Freight. I've used this for all kinds of stuff that you probably aren't supposed to, and it's about wore out already. So first, to do a steering wheel, you have to pull the sender cap off and then take the nut off, which I have that all done already. And I've already had to actually cut the hub of the steering wheel to where it's almost through, and it can be real hard to get off. We're gonna try just using this puller. I don't think the steering wheel's been on here very long. It doesn't look very rusty in there. So we're gonna see if it works. And that actually worked pretty good. I had to put a decent amount of pressure on and it all of a sudden popped. I think we're pretty well loose here. And there we are. It might be good to clean this up. It's a little bit rusty, so I think I'm gonna get some sandpaper, clean that up, and maybe put some anti-seize on it and put the new steering wheel on. And we have the new steering wheel on. That and went easier than any other one I've done. I have the center cap to put back on here. I probably should have just ordered a new one, but I forgot, and so I think I can just clean the old one up, paint it up. It is good to keep that on there, especially if your tractor's outside in the rain. You can get rain down in there and rust it up a lot worse. So I like to you can get some steering wheels that don't have the sender cap like that. I like the ones with a sender cap. And also I'm gonna put my steering wheel spinner back on here. So now we're working on the Super 88 to replace the spring for the adjuster to slide the seat front and back. This will be the same on the late fleet lines up through the Supers and into some of the 3 digits. How I do this is I just thread the springs on and off of the rod here. These springs are all available through Corvez Oliver. They're great people to buy your Oliver parts from. And there we got the old one off. It can be a little bit hard to get it started. Sometimes pointy nose pliers can make it a lot easier. think this is the part where a pointy nose pliers, maybe I'll have to go get one. I just didn't know if I wanted to go get a pliers. I will try one more thing. And there we got it. What I actually ended up doing was pushing the spring up from the bottom and then reaching down from the top with a flat screwdriver and getting it. And there you can see now it has spring tension to hold it back. The next thing we're going to do to the Super 88 is you can't see it. I'm going to have to pull the sheet metal off. And that is this spring that holds the throwout bearing for the clutch, that whole mechanism back. I actually had this tractor apart not too long ago. And when I went to put it back together, I realized that this spring has been missing the whole time I've owned this tractor. So I have a spring I cobbled together to make work. I'm going to put the right one in. So there you can see the spring that I had in there. It's not the right spring, just one that I found that I managed to make work. We're going to pull that spring out and we're going to put the right one in. This is similar. It doesn't matter if you have a it's a different spring, but it's very similar between a 77, an 88, and a 66. I think they all take a different spring. And the piece where your throwout bearing goes in, you can't see it. I actually can't even see it to replace this. There's a slotted hole that you first put the hook of the spring through, and then you put it through the it's just a regular hole. And I need to find my pliers to pull that out. So I got the end in the bell housing hooked up. You just kind of have to fish around until you get it. You can't even see in, at least on an 88, to hook it up. And then the back part hooks on, if you have a belt pulley, there is a bracket on the belt pulley for it to be hooked to. If you have the belt pulley delete, which this one has, it just hooks in that bracket off of where the input shaft of the transmission comes out of. And maybe I'll need to do this with both hands. Oh, it's actually hooked up. And that's how that goes. Actually, I might unhook it and kind of curl it in around. I don't quite like how it's not hooked in there very good. But that's how that goes. So we got the Super 88 all back together. That's all we're going to do to it today. Sometime I'll have to get this one out and do a video of it. This is actually the tractor I've had the longest. It's a 1956 Super 88 diesel. Another thing that I did is, this is a kickstart. A rod runs from the starter up where you push with your foot. The spring that I had in for the clutch, actually there's supposed to be a spring on that rod and that was missing, so I used the one from my clutch that I had made to work there and reworked it a little bit, and it worked pretty good on that pedal. Another thing that I need to do to this tractor is the front main seal. It was leaking oil pretty bad, and so I pulled, there's a felt washer in behind the pulley. You can take that out and you can put a lip seal in. You have to do some machining to your pulley to make that fit, and I did that, but it's still leaking oil, so I need to pull that apart, figure out where the leak's coming from, and do that again. So the next thing we're going to do is install this really nice grill screen. This tractor did not have one when I bought it, and Corvez has these really nice reproduction ones. We're going to put that in. Obviously I already pulled the grill out of the tractor. You just hook them in these clips on the side. Now before you completely hook that in, if you don't have this, get one of these pieces. It's just a flat piece of metal with a bolts threaded in. The bolts that you need are a tapered head like that, and they are a 1/4 inch fine thread, and they are super hard to find. I ran all over to find these. And there you can see what it looks like with the new grill screen in. I probably could have got away without having one in this tractor. I don't use it for a lot of stuff, but I have used it for baling hay. And that kind of thing is probably good to have. It keeps the dirt out of the radiator, and I think it just looks a lot nicer. There's a little bit of the 66 standard. I need to get it out and wash it up. So the last thing we're going to do today is, this is on the 60, and on a 5-speed 60, they have this thing that's called an oil baffle. When I changed the gear shift boot on this tractor, I thought it was just an old piece to the old one, and I pulled it out, and then I was running it on the road, and it threw oil out of the gear shifter pretty bad. So I was looking in the parts book, and they just have, it's about an 1/8 inch thick piece of rubber. It is 1 3/8 inches wide and 2 3/4 inches long, and then there's just a hole cut in the middle. And that, you just slide down over your shifter and put it down in like that. And I guess it's supposed to help keep the oil from coming up out. We'll put it in, see if it works. If you have that problem, you could probably make one of those. If you like these videos, give them a thumbs up. If you don't like them, give them a thumbs down. If you want to see more videos like this, leave a comment, subscribe. Anything that you do will help the channel. Thanks for watching.